red when he heard that. He swallowed, and asked, "Mom, I use all such precious things, is it a waste?" "Keep them, they can help my father a lot." Long Wanner smiled slightly and said, "Silly boy, don't you understand your father's thoughts? In his eyes, Qi Tianzhao is nothing. In you, he sees hope, and hopes that you can grow up one day. Inherit his throne as emperor." Yi Ming nodded. "My child understands. Father's thoughts are still on the world of the three emperors. It doesn't matter if things in the Tianyuan continent can be accomplished, it doesn't matter." Long Wanner. "That's right. The three sovereigns' great world is truly vast and powerful, and the Tianyuan continent is far from being able to compare with it. Your father once said that the three sovereigns' great world is one of the big worlds that can become a super civilization in the future." 1. Yi Ming said, "I understand." He put away the rings bluntly, and suddenly felt like a nouveau riche. However, he wasn't going to leave right away. Now that he had become a low-ranked Taoist body, he was already qualified to enter the Hall of Longevity and accept the Taoism left by the emperor. So before going to the three emperors' army, he had to go back to the Palace of Eternal Life. Yi Ming said he was going out, but Long Wanner didn't ask any more questions, but just told him to be careful. When leaving Qishan Island, Yi Ming only took Xiaoqiang by his side, and then urged the token to go back to the Hall of Eternal Life. There are 24 realms of the Sangong and 9 courts in the Hall of Eternal Life, and he is only in the Book Mountain realm, one of the 24 realms, and a big black dog is sitting here. For Yi Ming's arrival, the big black dog was quite respectful. First, he put his front paws side by side on the ground, bowed, and then said, "Master has finally achieved Taoism, and now he is qualified to accept everything in Shushanjing." Yi Ming couldn't help but ask, "What's in this book mountain?" The big black dog said, "The mountain of books carries Confucianism and Taoism civilization. The owner can get all the inheritance of Confucianism here." Yi Ming was very surprised, and said, "It's really amazing that Tianning can get these 24 civilizations back then." Big black dog. These civilizations may not be stronger than the martial arts civilization, but stones from other mountains can be used to attack jade. If the master can integrate all civilizations, he may be able to learn by analogy and create his own way. Yi Ming smiled bitterly. Create civilization? That's too difficult. Unless I can become an eternal strong, I don't even think about it. Big black dog. In fact, the martial arts civilization is still very superficial and rough. Master can definitely walk out a real martial arts path. After hearing this, Yi Ming was very surprised, and said, "You seem to know the martial arts civilization very well." My brother Xin Zhao in the Temple of Immortality also said that the current martial arts realm is actually copying the cultivation level of the gods, and it is not suitable for martial arts cultivation. Every powerful civilization is the step-by-step of countless sages and wise men. Your martial arts civilization has existed for too short a time and lacks foundation. The big black dog said, "If the master can understand all 20 civilizations, he will surely can step out of the real martial arts road." Yi Ming nodded. "That's right. The god of war is based on martial arts, and his strength should far exceed that of the gods. I don't know if I can get there, but I will do my best." Next, the big black dog brought Yi Ming to a palace. The palace was full of bookshelves, and there was no end to see at a glance. All of them were Confucian classics. The big black dog said, "Master, all the books on Confucianism and Taoism are here." Yi Ming said with a smile, "Okay, reading is not difficult for me. I don't know if the time in the Palace of Longevity is synchronized with the outside world." Big black dog. The speed of time passing can be adjusted at will. Yi Ming said, "I still have things to do outside. How about this? You transfer the time outside for a day, and 100 years in the palace. With so many books, even if I have an 8 yuan calculation, it will take hundreds of years." The big black dog was very surprised. Hundreds of years. Doesn't the master find it boring? Yi Ming smiled wryly. he had cultivated for tens of thousands of years in the Dian space, so what is a mere few hundred years? In the following time, Yi Ming was completely immersed in reading, absorbing many thoughts of Confucianism and Taoism like a sponge absorbing water. Confucianism governs the world with benevolence, righteousness, etiquette and law, which cultivates a kind of righteousness in the hearts of scholars. Scholars also believe in the founder of Confucianism and Taoism. He is known as the master of the great sage and a strong man at the level of a god. As he read more and more Confucian and Taoist classics, Yi Ming gradually discovered that the essence of righteousness in the hearts of scholars is also a kind of belief. The awe-inspiring righteousness in everyone's heart gathers in the void and is then received by the master. Therefore, the cultivation method of Confucianism and Taoism is very close to the way of gods and spirits. The pioneer of Confucianism and Taoism should have also borrowed from the cultivation method of Shintoism. Of course, Confucianism and Taoism also have their own characteristics, otherwise it would not be the only human civilization with a master god. In Confucianism and Taoism, only those who are benevolent and righteous can develop righteousness. In this way, the vast majority of human beings with Confucianism and Taoism have a heart of justice and benevolence. If things go on like this, they have accumulated immeasurable righteousness. These awe-inspiring righteousness are stored in every inch of the world of Confucianism and Taoism, and can be called at any time. There is a record in Confucian history books that when the master was about to become the main god, 3 gods had a feeling and went to surround and kill the master. The master was blatantly fearless, mobilized his immeasurable aura of arrogance, launched a mighty blow, and repelled the 3 main gods in one fell swoop, and dared not attack again. Yi Ming studied wisely, and Confucianism showed him another way of cultivation. With the deepening of his reading and comprehension, a portal gradually condensed in the spiritual world, containing the mysteries of Confucianism and Taoism. This portal is square and upright, grand and upright. Among Confucianism and Taoism, it is called Zifu. Once the Purple Mansion is completed, it means that Yi Ming's practice has entered the hall. The Purple Mansion is equivalent to the martial soul, and his Confucianism and Taoism are already equivalent to the level of the martial arts civilization. In the Purple Mansion, thousands of volumes of books can be hidden, noble energy can be cultivated, and magic blades can be refined to kill demons, with infinite magical uses. Next, with the deepening of cultivation, Zifu will become Yi Ming's storage tool, and its function is similar to that of Dongtian in Small World. Moreover, the Zifu can communicate with the awe-inspiring righteousness of the world of Confucianism and Taoism, and this awe-inspiring righteousness is an indispensable energy to activate the magical powers of Confucianism. After the Purple Mansion was formed, Yi Ming hid all the thousands of books in the Book Mountain realm. In this way, he only needs to swipe with his divine sense to memorize all the contents in the book. Originally, it took him hundreds of years to read all the books, but now, he has read all the Confucian classics in less than 100 years. When Yi Ming finished reading the last book, he suddenly looked up to the sky and sighed, and burst into tears. The big black dog has been silently guarding the side. Seeing him like this, he couldn't help being surprised, and asked, "Why is the master crying?" Yi Ming said, "I wish I could go see the great sage, and I feel regretful." Big black dog. Didn't the book say that master is in the world of Confucianism and Taoism? It shouldn't be difficult for you to meet him. Yi Ming shook his head, pointed to the countless bookshelves, and said lightly, "Master is in these books, in the hearts of Confucian children." The big black dog obviously didn't understand this sentence, grinned and said, "Master, I've read the Confucian civilization, do you want to go to the next level?" Yi Ming waved his hand. The civilization of Confucianism is extensive and profound, and I need time to digest it. The big black dog said, "All right." The Son of Heaven once said that it is difficult to penetrate these civilizations without reaching a certain level. The master has cultivated Zheng Qian, and it will not be too late to come and understand after he becomes a holy warrior. Mountain realm, Yi Ming has gained a lot. Although the opening of Zifu has limited his strength, it has given him a deeper understanding of martial arts practice. This understanding will have a profound impact on his future practice. He said to the big black dog. After I become a martial venerable, I will come to study Buddhism and Daoming. After I become a martial saint, I will come to study immortal Daoming. Big black dog. Okay. Only after comprehending the 24 kinds of enlightenment can the master enter the 9th courtyard, where the treasure of the Son of Heaven is preserved. Yi Ming had expected it earlier, so he asked. There are treasures in the 9th courtyard, what about the 3 palaces? The emperor's personal guards are sealed in the 3 palaces. When the master gets the treasures in the 9 courtyards, he can open the 3 palaces and officially succeed the emperor. The big black dog said, there is even a chance to revive the will of the Emperor of Heaven and establish a paradise for humanity. Open up a super bright. Yi Ming felt that the big black dog's expectations were too high. He scratched his head. These things are too far away, and it's useless to think about them. By the way, I returned empty-handed twice. Can I take something away this time? Everything is in the 9th courtyard. The big black dog said, I have no right to open it. Yi Ming didn't feel disappointed either, and said with a smile, okay, I will open these treasures myself in the future, I just hope that the things inside will not disappoint me. The big black dog said, Master, don't worry. The Emperor's treasure, no one can match, even if it is placed in the super bright, it is also a priceless treasure. Yi Ming attaches great importance to these treasures. He knows that if he wants to achieve a great cause, he must have a lot of resources. These treasures will be his great help. When leaving the Palace of Eternal Life and returning to Kishan Island, only a day and a half had passed. As soon as his people came back, they packed their bags and prepared to serve in the army of the 3 emperors. However, he still has to wait for Ha San. Some time ago, he asked Ha San to invite acquaintances from Tianyuan 9 demons to come over, but he hasn't returned yet. After waiting for 2 days in a row, 4 escaping lights descended from the sky, and 4 people appeared in Xiaolong Hall. Among these 4 people, besides Ha San, there are 3 other people, namely an old woman, a child, and a handsome young man. The old woman was wearing a shabby dress and her face was covered with wrinkles. She was smiling and looked very kind and amiable. The child looked to be about 6 years old, with a very serious expression, wearing a fat golden robe. The handsome young man dressed very interestingly, with engraved golden clothes and jade belts around his rings. As soon as he saw these 3 people, Yi Ming recognized them. They were the 3 introduced by Shui Wanzhi at the beginning, Mrs. Shang, Mr. Snake, and Mr. Gatong. They were also old acquaintances. However, these 3 did not recognize Yi Ming, because his current identity was Long Xiaobai, not Yi Ming. Without waiting for Ha San to introduce, Yi Ming greeted him with a smile. You 3 are here, Qi Tianjiao is full of splendor, please take a seat. The old woman gave a sinister smile and said, Young master recognizes us. Yi Ming smiled and said, No one in the world knows the names of Mrs. Shang, Mr. Snake, and Mr. Gatong. Of course I know. Grandma Shang was very surprised. He glanced at Ha San, and the latter grinned. The young leader actually knows them. The subordinates are really surprised. These 3 guys rarely show up, and they have been cultivating all the year round. No one who knows many. Yi Ming said. As the leader of the young sect, of course I need to have a little vision. Ha San, are these 3 willing to join my Qitian sect? Ha San smiled awkwardly, and said, I have invited 6 in total, and only 3 of them are willing to come. However, they all have conditions. Oh, what conditions? Yi Ming asked. Ha San said, what they mean is that less teaching mainly allows them to see the future. What kind of future are they willing to join Qi Tianjiao? Yi Ming asked. Young leader must be able to be a hero in the future, and his status cannot be inferior to the current leader Qishan. Ha San said. Yi Ming said. I have confidence, but how can I prove it? It's very simple, just ask the old man Tianji to calculate it, Ha San said. So, the master will accompany them to see the old man Tianji. Yi Ming also intends to ask the old man Tianji to come out, and he readily agrees. After a little preparation, a group of 5 people went to visit the old man Tianji. The secluded place of the old man Tianji happened to be in the South China Sea. On the vast sea to the south of Qishan Island, there was a small island hidden in the formation. Those who didn't know it would have no way of finding it. Ha San has some friendship with old man Tianji, so he knows the location of the small island, which is located in the middle of the 3 reefs. At this moment, Ha San and the others were hanging on a rock, all staring at the front not far away. Old Ha, will old man Tianji meet us? After all, he is a human being, and we are demons. Gui Tongzi was a little worried. This old monster has a bad temper, and we will be in bad luck. Ha San also seemed a little guilty, and said, "Let me ask first." After speaking, he yelled loudly, "Brother Tianji, my old clam is here to visit, is it convenient to meet?" Before Ha San finished speaking, a hole opened in the void ahead, revealing a small island behind. There was a tile-roofed house on the island, and an old voice came from inside. "You toad, what do you want from me?" Ha San was overjoyed, and said, "Brother Tianji, I brought a little friend who is good at magic deduction, and it is possible to help you complete the map of Tianji." Ha ha ha. Old man Tianji laughed wildly. "In the whole world, if anyone can help me, there are only 2 people, one is Yi Shantian and the other is Yuan Shantian. Are you calling a doll over to play a joke on this old man?" Yi Ming didn't wait for Ha San to open his mouth, and said, "Senior Tianji, this junior is proficient in Tai magic and chaotic arithmetic, so it may not be impossible for you to help you." The old man Tianji was silent for a moment, and said, "You said that you are proficient in Tai magic and chaotic arithmetic, are you serious?" Yi Ming said, "Don't dare to lie. Then let me ask you, how many stars can you see in the summer sky in March?" Old man Tianji suddenly asked. Yi Ming pondered for a while, and said, "Human eyes are like bastards, there are 79,543. Ha San and the others were all stunned, and couldn't help asking, "Master, how did you know?" Yi Ming said lightly, "I once looked up at the night sky on a summer night, and I remembered it with just one glance." "Okay. You are really proficient in Tai magic, otherwise it would be impossible to count all the stars at a glance." An old man with dark hair and gray clothes walked out of the tiled house with a smile on his face and came to Yi Ming. The old man was very short, only reaching Yi Ming's chest, but he was full of aura, and Yi Ming felt that he was as vast as a galaxy. "I've seen Senior Tianji." He hurriedly saluted. The old man Tianji smiled amiably. He patted Yi Ming on the shoulder and said, "Young people are awesome. You can really help me complete the map of Tianji." After finishing speaking, he ignored Ha San and the others at all, pulled Yi Ming into the island, and then the space closed, leaving Ha San and 4 outside. Ha 3 and 4 looked at each other, all showing a wry smile. Grandma Shang asked, "Old Ha, how is Elder Tianji's cultivation?" Ha San thought for a while. "Earlier I thought he was still in the 3rd realm of longevity, but seeing him today, I concluded that he has already improved." Young Master Snake narrowed his eyes. "I feel that he has at least reached the 5th realm of longevity, and is still in the process of making a breakthrough." Ha San nodded. "That's right. The old man Tianji once mentioned to me that once his Tianji map is completed, his cultivation will improve by leaps and bounds, easily surpassing Yuan Shantian." "What? Surpass Yuan Shantian?" "Yuan Shantian is at the 7th realm of longevity. Could it be that he can break through to the 8th realm?" The 3 mothers-in-law Shang were shocked, their faces full of disbelief. Ha San said, "Perhaps he was not weaker than Yuan Shantian in the first place, but he was low-key, so his reputation was not obvious. In fact, after reaching the 5th realm of longevity, with our eyesight, we can't see it clearly at all. Take the leader of Qishan as the leader. For example, outsiders always thought he was in the 5th realm of longevity, but he was actually already in the 7th realm of longevity. Atabai is already in the 7th realm. How did you know that?" Several people asked in surprise. Young leader told me, Ha San said. It can be seen that the real realm of the old man Tianji should be in the 6th or 7th realm. Not to mention that the four were waiting outside. After Yi Ming entered the island with old man Tianji, the latter was very enthusiastic and personally brought out tea and fruits, all of which were precious teas that Yi Ming had never seen before. Yi Ming didn't have time to enjoy these, so he put all the tea and fruit in his pocket, and said with a smile, "Senior, I'd better take a look at the map of heaven's secrets first." Old man Tianji smiled and shook his hand, and a light curtain stretched across the sky, covering the entire sky. In that light curtain, there are countless mysterious lights intertwined and distorted. If you are not an expert, you will not be able to see the way at all. Only Yi Ming could see the mystery at a glance, and he praised, "Senior's map of heavenly secrets is far better than Yi Shantian's Vientian ball." The old man Tianji said triumphantly, "That's natural. Although Yi Shantian's Vientian ball is extraordinary, his realm is too low after all." Next, without reservation, he told Yi Ming the ins and outs and structural principles of the Tianji map. It turned out that the old man Tianji traveled to Tianweishan when he was young, and accidentally got the inheritance of the Tianji clan. Later, he combined Tianjiming and Shendaoming, and cultivated all the way to the immortal state. Now, he already has the cultivation base of the 6th realm of longevity. But if he went any further, he felt powerless. He had to condense the secret map, and this map would exist as his avatar. This celestial map can calculate the past and the future. It is wonderful to observe the soul from the upper body and the heavenly heart from the lower body. So once he has the secret map, his strength will advance by leaps and bounds, and he can advance to the 7th realm of longevity, or even the 8th realm of longevity in a short time. It's just that, with his current wisdom, it's very difficult to complete the Tianji map, so I hope Yi Ming can help him. Yi Ming sat on the ground, carefully observing the map of Tianji, as if it had turned into a stone sculpture. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It wasn't until the 3rd day that he turned his neck slightly and asked, "Senior Tianji, the map of Tianji you constructed is so perfect that it is impossible to complete it." Old man Tianji was stunned. "Too perfect? Shouldn't the map of Tianji be perfect?" Yi Ming said with a smile. "I just read a lot of Confucian classics. There is such a poem in Confucianism, people have sorrows and joys, and the moon has cloudy and sunny waxes and wanes. To be envied by heaven is a bad thing." Old man Tianji seemed to be enlightened. He slapped his head violently, and shouted, "Yes, I was wrong from the beginning." Yi Ming broke the secret with a single word, and the old man Tianji was overjoyed, and immediately started to modify the map of Tianji. After that, Yi Ming didn't say a word, just observed silently. Because he knew the cultivation method of old man Tianji and witnessed him creating the map of Tianji stroke by stroke, he easily recorded all this in his heart and calculated silently. Old man Tianji has participated in the study of Tianji map for many years. Now he saw a way out, and created a Tianji map in a few days. This celestial map is the size of a door panel, suspended above his head, in a circular shape, rotating slowly, very wonderful. However, the map of celestial secrets is currently only a rough draft, and there are still many details that need to be improved. This will consume a lot of energy of the old man of Tianji. He will spend hundreds or even tens of thousands of years to polish the map of celestial secrets. As soon as the Tianji map appeared, the old man Tianji nodded slightly to Yi Ming, and said with a smile, "Little friend, thanks to you this time, otherwise, I don't know how long it will take for my Tianji map to be born." Yi Ming was very modest, and said, "With the wisdom of the seniors, it will be a matter of time to see through this point. It will take 3 years at least, and 5 years at most, and you will be able to return from the wrong way." The younger generation dare not be greedy for merit. Old man Tianji laughed haha and said, "Originally, I thought that I would break through to the 7th realm of longevity in one fell swoop by relying on this map of heavenly secrets, but thinking about it now is really stupid. From now on, I only need to slowly polish this map of secrets of heaven, and my practice will naturally improve, let alone the 8th realm of longevity, even the 9th realm of longevity is not impossible." Yi Ming said with a smile. What the senior said is true. The old man Tianji was in a good mood, and said, that old clam never suffers, you brought you here to help me, you must have something to ask for, right? Yi Ming didn't hide anything, and immediately revealed his identity, and strongly invited old man Tianji to come out to help. Hearing that Yi Ming is the young master of the Qishan sect, the old man of Tianji was silent for a while, and said, I should have been concentrating on the plan of Tianji, but you have helped me, and I can't refuse you. Well, I can help you 10 times. Years. After 10 years, the old man will not owe you anything. Yi Ming was overjoyed. With the help of this strong man in the 6th realm of longevity, he would have more confidence. You know, even Fengxi is only in the 5 realms of longevity. Ha San and the others outside were getting impatient, when suddenly the void split open, and Yi Ming and old man Tianji walked out side by side. He quickly asked, Young master, did you succeed? Yi Ming said with a smile. Senior Tianji is done, and he is willing to come out to help me. Ha San was surprised and admired at the same time, gave a thumbs up, and said, Young master is really amazing. Granny Shang and the others looked at each other and said, Old man Tianji, the 3 of us intend to assist him, but we don't know what his future will be. Old man Tianji snorted coldly. With your few pieces of trash, what qualifications do you have to assist the young master? As soon as these words came out, Grandma Shang and the others were shocked and angry, and the snake boy said unconvinced, Old man Tianji, even though you are a strong immortal, you can't insult us like this. I insulted you. Old man Tianji shook his head. This old clam is at the 3rd realm of longevity, you are just ants in the realm of law and heaven, what's there to insult? This sentence actually left Granny Shang speechless. In the end, Yi Ming smoothed things over and said with a smile, Now is the time for employing people, and the 3 cultivation bases are not weak. If you are willing to help me, it would be great. Old man Tianji heard the words, so he didn't say much, just sneered a few times. The Gatongzi could only smile wryly. They thought Yi Ming was not worth helping, but now it seems that they simply underestimated each other. The turtle boy still didn't give up, and asked with a salivating face, Old man Tianji, it doesn't matter if you look down on us, our cultivation is not as good as yours, so you can say whatever you want. But, can you tell me what the future holds for young master? Elder Tianji sneered again. Even this old man can't see clearly his future, what do you think? What? Even you can't see clearly? Mr. Snake screamed strangely, don't you claim to know the past and the future? The premise is that the other party's future achievements can't surpass me too much. The old man Tianji said lightly, for example, if he is in the 9th realm of longevity in the future, I may still be able to see the way. But if he is a master god level powerhouse in the future, I will absolutely invisible. Yi Ming was taken aback by himself, and said, Senior said that I can enter the eternal realm. Not necessarily. Old man Tianji looked contemplative. I feel that young master's future is full of variables, and he may have to take an unusual path. Yi Ming's heart moved, and he said, I intend to embark on an unusual road of martial arts. That's it. The old man Tianji immediately gave Yi Ming another 3 points. The future of the martial god is great. If the human race wants to stand in the forest of thousands of races, it must take this road. In my opinion, Confucianism and Taoism, whether it's the way of immortality or the way of immortality, they're all too weak and powerless, but only the way of martial arts can make the human race dominate the world. It's just that this road will be extremely difficult and full of dangers. Yi Ming said lightly. Someone has to try, and I am willing to go all out. Good. Elder Tianji clapped his hands in praise. For the next 10 years, I will do my best to assist the young master. Yi Ming saluted and said, Thanks to the high regard, I am very grateful. Elder Tianji, what are the young master's plans for the future? Yi Ming then explained the situation in the 3 emperors' world. After hearing this, the old man Tianji said, This is to be a hostage, to be under the fence, to be restrained by others, and to do a lot of good things. The old man has an idea to let the young leader escape. Oh, What's the best strategy, senior? He asked quickly. Old man Tianji. This old man knows a substitution technique, which can make the young leader create a clone and go to the three emperors' barracks instead of the young leader. Yi Ming wondered. If you just go separately, aren't you afraid of being seen through? Of course not. I have a way to cut off the connection between the deity and the avatar. How can they see through it? Old man Tianji said, but to use this secret technique, the master must give up a bloodline. Give up a bloodline. Yi Ming's heart moved. I have the bloodline of a real dragon, but I can create a clone of a real dragon. The old man Tianji was very surprised. Is it the blood of the real dragon? It's a great blood. It's a pity to use it up. Yi Ming said nothing. It's okay. It's just that my blood is closely related to myself, and my martial soul is also based on the dragon soul. If it is stripped off, it will take a while to recover. That's not important. As long as the true dragon's bloodline doesn't affect the foundation of the young leader, it's okay to strip it off. Old man Tianji suggested, and a powerful bloodline like the real dragon's bloodline has more advantages than disadvantages in the short term. But in the long run, having this kind of blood is not a good thing. Yi Ming also took it seriously, and said, after all, it's not a human bloodline, and it must affect my cultivation in the future. Forget it, I'll separate it and create a clone. When the two sides talked, Ha San and the others were very surprised. They all felt that it was a pity to lose the blood of the real dragon. Ha San couldn't help persuading. Young leader, the blood of the real dragon is very important. According to the legend, the dragon race is among the top 10 races. You have to think twice. Yi Ming said. However, I am a human being after all. No matter how pure the blood of a real dragon is, I can't become a real dragon. If I take 10,000 steps back, even if I become a real dragon, so what? On that day, I will no longer be a human. Dragon, however precious, is not human. Ha San scratched his head and muttered, but young master, there's nothing wrong with being a dragon. Yi Ming asked back. Old Ha, why did you take the form of a human instead of a dragon? Ha San was stunned, thought for a while, and said, when I transformed, I naturally transformed in the direction that is most beneficial to my practice, and I became what I am now without knowing it. Yi Ming nodded. That's right. It is also recorded in ancient books that the human race is the most suitable race for cultivation and has the greatest potential. Even the dragon race cannot be compared with it. If this is the case, why should I abandon the identity of a human being? Ha San. But young master, human beings are not powerful at present, and have not yet established a super civilization. However, powerful races like the dragon race have already established their own super civilization, and have more than one main god. That's because human beings haven't grown up yet, and human beings today are just babies. Once he grows up, I don't think he will lose to any race. Yi Ming said lightly, his tone full of confidence. Ha San didn't know how to refute, so he had to keep his mouth shut. But Grandma Shang spoke up again, and said, young master, the blood of a real dragon is very rare. It's a pity that you give up. It's a pity that you give up. Why don't you think about it? Yi Ming is indeed a bit reluctant. The several dragon supernatural powers he possesses, such as Tianlong Baquan, such as swallowing clouds and fog, flying dragon escape, are not weak. Putting down one thing is to get something more precious. Yi Ming said indifferently, there is no pity, no pity. Old man Tianji. Young master, I have something to tell you. The blood of the real dragon is very important. To carry it, you need to build a powerful body. Yi Ming asked. Senior Tianji, where can I find the body? This body needs 49 types of rare treasures to be made, and then flow into the blood of the real dragon. Each of these 49 types of rare treasures is priceless. I wonder if the young master can afford it. Yi Ming's heart tightened, and he hurriedly asked. It turns out that body substitution is so troublesome. What rare treasures do I need? Old man Tianji. The first and most important thing is called the heaven and earth membrane, based on which a physical body can be created. Hearing the placenta of heaven and earth, Yi Ming remembered the experience of entering the placenta of heaven and earth last time. At that time, he and Ding Wei from the Temple of Immortality wanted to capture God's will, but returned empty-handed. Presumably the fetal membranes of this world are also related to it. Thinking of this, he secretly communicated with the crystal goddess, asking her to ask the providence of Xuantian Great World, whether it is possible to find the heaven and earth fetal membrane. After a while, the crystal goddess sent the news that Xuantian will can indeed provide the heaven and earth membranes, and the quantity is very large. After getting the exact news, he breathed a long sigh of relief, because he felt that the fetal membranes in this world must be very expensive. Sure enough, old man Tianji sighed. It's just that the fetal membranes are so precious that even I can't afford them. Even if I can afford them, I don't know where to buy them. Yi Ming said with a smile. I happen to have a heaven and earth membrane in my hand, so I don't know if the rest will be easy to find. The old man Tianji smiled and said, I have a hunch in my heart that you must have a way, and it really came true. With the heaven and earth membrane, the rest of the things are precious, but they are easy to buy. As the young leader of the Qishan sect, you must not. Are you short of money? Yi Ming nodded again and again. He is really not short of money now, not to mention the treasures that Xiao Jing got in Baoji, just the things Long Wainer gave him are enough for him to squander. That being the case, I'll give you the list of materials, and you can get someone to prepare it immediately. He handed Yi Ming a list. Yi Ming took it over and took a look. The value of these materials added up to about 30 billion longevity coins, that is, about 1 trillion Valkyrie coins. This amount of money is an astronomical figure to ordinary people, but it is nothing to him. He didn't even go back to the Qitian sect. He found some of the treasures given by Long Waner first, and bought the rest from the Haoshan Gong monument, which was very convenient. Afterwards, a group of people landed on Tianji Island and began to build a physical body. This substitute technique is actually a means of refining clones. There is nothing special about it. The only feature is that it is expensive, because if you want to refine it, you need a lot of precious materials to create a physical body that carries the blood of a real dragon. To practice this substitute technique, there are 3 steps to go. The first step is to create a physical body. The second step is to refine the blood of the real dragon and send it into the blood. The third step is the most critical. Possessing the real dragon body with life, making it a clone of him. Coincidentally, he had practiced the skill of transferring flowers and trees a long time ago, and the third step was relatively simple. The more dangerous step is the second step, which is to extract the blood of the real dragon from his body. You know, his practice has always relied on the blood of the real dragon, and the condensing of the martial soul is based on the dragon soul, and he has also cultivated several dragon clan supernatural powers. Once the dragon blood is stripped, his own strength will be greatly affected, and it must be done slowly, not too violently. On Tianji Island, old man Tianji began to carry out the first step, building a physical body. After waiting for a while, the crystal goddess sent someone to send the heaven and earth membranes. That day, the fetal membrane was like a soft crystal, a soft mass, which was spread in a large formation by the old man Tianji. Then, he put 48 kinds of precious materials in one by one. In the next moment, he used the tyrannical strength of the 6th realm of longevity to activate this large formation. In an instant, countless lights of life rose from the formation, shaking the heavens and the earth. Ha San asked in surprise. Brother Tianji, your big formation, could it be a vitality formation? The old man Tianji said. You still have some eyesight. There are only a few people who are proficient in this big formation, and I am one of them. If I don't have the strength of the 6th realm of longevity, I can't motivate it at all. Gui Tongzi praised. Old man Tianji is well deserved of his reputation. He is just a body made with so much money. How effective is it? Old man Tianji smiled hehe and said, this physical body has the same aptitude as the young leader. It is also a low-level Taoist body and has an immortal body. What? A mortal body? The three demon gods exclaimed, their faces full of shock. The old man Tianji nodded. That's right, it is an immortal body. These precious materials are worth tens of billions of Valkyrie coins, plus the immeasurable value of heaven and earth fetal membranes. Can the physical body created by it be worse? Yi Ming couldn't help asking. Senior Tianji, how can this immortal body not die? To put it simply, it is invulnerable to swords and guns, water and fire, evil spirits, and magic. Ordinary people's supernatural powers and weapon attacks can't harm it at all, old man Tianji said lightly. Even the old man is greedy. Yi Ming was really shocked now, and murmured, so powerful. The reason why I recommend less training to create a double is that the immortal body is the main consideration, and the purpose of letting it go to the three emperors' barracks instead of the master is secondary. After all, one more powerful clone is equal to more one life. He seemed to have a feeling. I don't know how many amazing, talented and beautiful people in history have fallen. They were supposed to create the history of the human race. Unfortunately, they didn't live long enough. Ha San blinked his eyes. Brother Tianji, so Yi Ming is invincible. Old man Tianji snorted coldly. Can an immortal body be invincible? No matter how immortal a body is, it will be scum in front of a strong immortal. Ha San looked embarrassed, and said, after all, there are very few immortal level powerhouses. How many people are there in the entire Tianyuan? The young leader is not high now, so they don't have to be immortal level powerhouses. Yi Ming said. What Ha San said is that with this immortal body, I at least have a chance to save my life. If there are really immortal strong people who attack me, wouldn't there be you? Old man Tianji seemed too lazy to talk nonsense with Ha San and the others, and instead focused on mobilizing the formation. It took about 3 days before the brilliance in the formation subsided, and a masculine and domineering, extremely perfect body appeared in the formation, suspended quietly, motionless. The old man Tianji smiled and said, it's done. My method of creating a physical body comes from ancient secrets. It can't be wrong. Next, I will refine the blood of the real dragon. Next, he asked Yi Ming to sit cross-legged under the undead body, without speaking or moving, without thinking. Master, young master, it's up to you to refine the blood of the real dragon. Whether you can succeed or not depends on the master's good fortune. Old man Tianji said, but he obviously had confidence in Yi Ming. Yi Ming is actually quite sure, because he has the Ruyi robe, which has infinite uses and can easily strip the blood of the real dragon. Not to mention the current wishful robes, even the original gods and treasures can do it. So with a thought in his mind, a ray of spiritual light was stripped from his body and soul. Suddenly, he felt a burst of collapse, almost fainted. Afterwards, the spiritual light flew out of the body, intertwined into an extremely complicated chain of life, and was pressed into the immortal body of Tianling by the palm of the old man Tianji. Boom! The sky and the earth trembled, the sea swelled, and a vast force boiled in the immortal body, and a strong breath of life gushed out, rushing to the sky, shocking the world. For a while, I don't know how many strong people are paying attention to this place. Elder Tianji also seemed surprised, and quickly suppressed the breath of life with his infinite magical powers, praising, what a powerful life force. Young master, don't delay, let's revive the corpse quickly. After a while, I'm afraid someone will come. Although Yi Ming was very weak, he still used all his strength to mobilize flowers and trees, and used the method of resurrecting the dead, and easily controlled the undead body. The next moment, there was a wonderful connection between him and the undead body. With a movement of his mind, the undead body opened its eyes and nodded to him. So far, this immortal body has completely become a clone of him. The old man Tianji was very satisfied, and pointing like a knife, he slammed everything between Yi Ming and the immortal body, and shouted, cut off cause and effect. In an instant, Yi Ming felt that the connection between him and the immortal body was gone. However, when he thought about it, he still had a faint feeling, as if the immortal body had become his twin brother, and they had telepathy with each other, but they were no longer the same person. It's done. Seeing Yi Ming's dazed look, old man Tianji clapped his hands with a smile. Yi Ming glanced at the undead body and asked, "Who are you?" The undead body smiled slightly. "I am Long Xiaobai, and you too." Yi Ming couldn't help being a little worried, and said, "Senior Tianji, if it is not under my control in the future, what should I do?" Old man Tianji laughed, haha. How could it be? What you think in your heart is what he thinks in his heart. Will you betray yourself? Yi Ming shook his head. Of course not, that's right, he won't betray himself either. So don't worry less about the sect master. Old man Tianji said with certainty. Yi Ming breathed a sigh of relief and said, "I'm going to the army of the three emperors now, I'm sorry." The other party nodded. Please rest assured. Elder Tianji, it's not suitable to stay here for a long time, young master, we should go. Yi Ming thought for a while and said, "You guys bring your undead bodies back to Qi Tianzhou, I have my own things to do." The old man Tianji wondered. The young master wants us to assist this immortal young master. Yi Ming nodded. Of course. As you said, this undead body can practice alone, and maybe it can lead to a strong road. As for me, there are still many things to do, and it is not convenient for you to accompany me. Since that's the case, let's take a step ahead, young master, take care. After saying that, the old man Tianji and his party escaped from Qishan Island, and went away in an instant. Yi Ming didn't stay for long, and then rushed to Lingzhou in the East China Sea. He was weak and had to go back to Lingzhou to recuperate for a while. There is the crystal goddess in charge, and the headquarters of the Haoshan sect, so it is safe. The most important thing is that he wants to further run the Haoshan sect to deal with the chaotic situation in Tianyuan continent. Speaking of which, he runs the Haoshan sect just to save the people of Tianyuan. The Haoshan sect issued a condition. Only after he made the Haoshan sect the mainstream of the Tianyuan continent, the 8 great kings would take action to deal with the GU. In fact, he didn't have to do it at all, but he couldn't go against his heart. He told him in his heart that it was worth it no matter how much it cost to save the common people. The undead body replaced him as Long Xiaobai, and he finally didn't have to worry about this identity anymore. Deep down in his heart, he also hoped that the immortal clone would become the real Long Xiaobai, the son of Long Wanner and Atabai. There should be no difference between him and the dead Long Xiaobai. He muttered to himself. He has always had a good impression of Long Wanner and Atabai, and he doesn't want them to suffer the pain of losing their children. After returning to Lingzhou, Yi Ming immediately retreated to practice, and did not leave until a month later. And at this time, he had already recovered. After Yi Ming left the customs, he immediately summoned Xiao Jing and Xiao Qiang. He had been away for such a period of time, and hadn't asked much about Hao Qianzhao's affairs, so he naturally wanted to ask at this time. It doesn't matter if you ask this question, he was actually shocked by the huge change of Haoshan sect. It turned out that since he left Haoshan sect, Xiao Jing has carried out drastic reforms. The first step is to invest a huge amount of money to continue to expand the Sky Arrest. As Yi Ming predicted before, Tianzhu will be the core of Haoshan sect in the future. Because every member of Tianzhu has a righteous and strong heart, which is unmatched by any organization. Last year, there have been many wars in the Tianyuan continent, the people are in dire straits, and countless people with lofty ideals are dissatisfied with the court. Against this background, the emergence of Hao Qianzhao made many people see hope and voted one after another. In addition, Xiao Jing invested a lot of Baoji's income in this, and recruited a large number of sky catchers in a short period of time. Today, the number of Tianzhu members has exceeded the tens of millions mark, and it is still increasing rapidly. However, the expansion of sky capture is only the first step. Xiao Jing's real goal is to rely on the foundation of sky capture to build an army that can be precisely controlled. That's right, what Xiao Jing wants to build is an army. In her opinion, in today's turbulent times, if the Haoshan sect does not have a strong army, it will be impossible to gain a foothold in the troubled times. Moreover, there are heroes in troubled times. Under the current environment, most people are willing to join the army. After all, no one wants to be a lamb to be slaughtered. The most important thing is that she holds the treasure world in her hands and is sitting on a huge fortune. This money is enough for him to support an army of tens of billions. It can be said that Heo Qianzhao has money, people, and the situation, taking advantage of the right time, place, and harmony, so naturally it must develop with all its strength. After being surprised at the beginning, Yi Ming quickly admired Xiao Jing, and said with a smile, "It's right for me to let you manage Heo Qianzhao. If it were me, I would definitely not be so generous." Xiao Jing, Master, if the Haoshan sect wants to dominate the world, it cannot be done without spending a lot of money. Okay, you decide for yourself, I fully support it. Yi Ming said. Xiao Qiang couldn't help asking, Master, is this going to be a hands-off shopkeeper? Yi Ming said, I do have something to do, what's the matter? Xiao Qiang asked curiously. I want to lead the Sky Arrestor personally, do justice for the sky, eliminate violence and bring peace to the people. Yi Ming said lightly. Xiao Qiang didn't take it seriously, and said, why does the master need to do this? Let Tianzhuo do these things by himself. Yi Ming waved his hand. I just do what I want to do. Besides, doing so is also a kind of training. Xiao Jing, Master has his own plan, Xiao Qiang, so stop talking nonsense. Xiao Qiang jumped up. What is talking nonsense? I care about the master. Okay. Yi Ming stopped the two of them from arguing. Xiao Qiang, Xiao Jing will handle the outside affairs. You give me a good time to practice. Although your strength is not weak, but you are still 100,000 away from the immortal state, 8,000 miles, you must not slack off. Xiao Qiang knew that Yi Ming was treating him well, so he could only say, yes, I obey. Xiao Jing took care of all the affairs of Haoshan Zhaozhong, while Yi Ming took the top management of Tianzhu with peace of mind and started his plan. That's right, he had his own ideas and even made a plan for Tianzhu. This idea has been around since he left the Book Mountain realm, that is to spread the inheritance he got from the Palace of Eternal Life among the heavenly catch. Of course, this kind of dissemination is partial, and he will select some qualified people to let them practice Confucianism and Taoism. These heavenly arrestors who specialize in practicing Confucian exercises will be classified as a single country, called the Confucian country. In the process, if he thinks everything is going well, he will teach the 24 kinds of civilized exercises, such as Immortal Tao Kung Fu, Buddhist Taoist Kung Fu, etc. to Tianzhu one by one, so as to establish Buddha Kingdom, Immortal Kingdom, Wu Kingdom, etc. Wait. In the end, there will be a situation where 100 schools of thought contend. In Tianhuntang, the head of the hall, Duan Gongming, led the crowd to welcome Yi Ming. At this time, Duan Gongming was very different from before. Although his cultivation was only at the level of a martial saint, his demeanor of commanding a determined general could not be compared with that of a martial god. My subordinates will see the deputy leader. In the hall, everyone respectfully paid homage. Yi Ming nodded slightly and said, get up. Everyone stood up. The people in the hall were all the core figures of Tianzhutang. Besides Duan Gongming, there were dozens of backbones, some of them were warrior gods, and some were gods. Their strength should not be underestimated. However, these people are very respectful to Duan Gongming, and it can be seen that he is well-mannered and extremely capable. During this time, you have done a good job, and the deputy leader is very pleased. I am here today, hoping to work with you and fight side by side, so that Tianzhuo will become the most powerful force in Haoshan sect and even Tianyuan continent. Yi Ming scanning everyone. I want to ask, do you know what is the duty of the Sky Arrestor? Punish the evil and promote the good, fight the injustice, and do justice for the heavens. Everyone said in unison. Yi Ming nodded lightly. That's right. The reason why you want to become a Sky Arrestor is not for fame, nor for profit, and you don't care about your future. It's just because you can't see good people being oppressed, and you can't see evil people at ease happy, you want to use your own power to change the world. There was silence in the hall, and everyone's eyes were on Yi Ming, and their hearts resonated. So, I want to ask one more question. If one day, you have great power and strength, can you not change your original intention? Can you still stick to today's belief? Yi Ming asked loudly. Yes. Everyone said loudly. Yi Ming, if you can do it, sit down and listen to me preach the scriptures. Everyone was puzzled and didn't know what Yi Ming's so-called proclamation was, but they still sat down and listened quietly. Yi Ming said in a loud voice, "The benevolent man is also the most important thing to be loved. The righteous man is also worthy. The most important thing is to respect the virtuous. The killing of relatives is the most important thing to respect the virtuous, and etiquette is born." What he said was the daily speech of the master, which was stated one by one from his mouth. The words came out of his mouth and entered the ears of everyone. Most of them were concentrating on it, and there was no special performance. There were only 3 or 2 people with happy expressions on their faces, as if they had seen something extremely beautiful and couldn't help themselves. Yi Ming preached for an hour, and suddenly a martial sage in the crowd was dancing, weeping with joy, knelt in front of Yi Ming, and asked loudly, "Deputy leader, my subordinates want to see this great sage and sage, please help me." Yi Ming stopped preaching, smiled, and said, "The great sage and virtuous teacher is here." After speaking, he took out 10 volumes of Confucian classics. "If you are wise, you can meet the sage in the book." The man was overjoyed, knelt on the ground, took the scriptures with both hands, very respectful. Yi Ming asked, "What's your name?" The man said, "Subordinate Zhao Shui." Yi Ming, "Zhao Shui, I will pass on your Confucianism and Taoism classics. After today, you will be a Confucianism and Taoism sage teacher in Tianyuan continent, educate the world, preach benevolence, righteousness and propriety, and carry forward Confucianism and Taoism." "Disciple, please obey." Zhao Shui cried loudly as he obeyed. Afterwards, Yi Ming canonized Zhao Shui as the deputy head of Tianjutang and the future ruler of the Confucian country. Among the crowd, there were still 2 people who were willing to follow Zhao Shui, study Confucianism and Taoism with him, establish a Confucian country, and educate the world. After doing this, Yi Ming was in a good mood. He felt that, as a member of Heavenly Catcher, he had to do something specific, which would be enjoyable. Thinking of this, he secretly communicated with the Monument of Merit, hoping that the Monument of Merit would publish a list. This list is called the Wicked List, and the most evil people on the Tianyuan continent will be listed on it. And next, the Sky Arrester will attack the criminals on the villain list one by one, and let you attach to accept the punishment. As soon as his thoughts appeared, changes took place on the Monument of Merit and Virtue, and a list appeared, which was exactly the list of villains he wanted to see. There are only 1,000 people on the list of villains, and all of them are sinners. For example, the villain ranked number 1000 above is named Tian Bogong, the leader of the 100 Flowers sect, and a great villain who caused chaos. However, Tian Bogong is a deity with the law of heaven and one realm, and his strength is tyrannical. Moreover, the 100 Flowers sect he founded has a cloud of masters, with 3 martial gods, 12 martial saints, and hundreds of martial lords and martial lords. At the same time, this villain list appeared on the merit tablets of all Tianyun members. When the Sky Arresters saw these heinous people, they were all filled with murderous intentions, wishing they could kill them with their own hands. Most of the people on the list are God-level masters. Yi Ming said to the crowd, "We Tianju want to do justice for the sky, starting with these 1,000 people. And the first thing we have to deal with is this hierarch of 100 Flowers." After finishing speaking, he ordered, "Master Duan. The subordinate is here." Duan Gongming walked out. "I order you to find out the origin of the 100 Flowers sect, how many masters there are in the sect, and what evil things they have done. You must find out clearly." Yes. Duan Gongming immediately activated the huge sky arresting machine, issued orders layer by layer, and began to investigate the 100 Flowers sect. During the period of investigating the 100 Flowers sect, Yi Ming was not idle, and continued to stabilize his martial spirit of manifesting sages, and tried to break through the next stage of martial arts. Magic souls are proficient in nature and spells, so they are also called mages. Throughout the ages, there have been very few people who have achieved Dharma martial souls, and Yi Ming has only seen one, and that is Ji Nuo. However, Ji Nuo is only a nascent martial soul, and he is still far from consummation. Every stage of martial arts has its acme, and the acme of the martial lord stage is the Dharma martial soul. With a full martial soul, ghosts and gods are frightened, and they roam the world. It's just that this method of martial soul is extremely difficult to cultivate. Yi Ming still can't find the way, and he doesn't know where to start. So for now, he still focuses on stabilizing his martial soul. He has 6 great martial spirits, each of which is very powerful. What he has to do now is to further improve, especially those powerful martial spirits, such as the God-killing sword formation that carries the talisman formation martial spirit. He has cultivated to the 5th stage of this set of God-killing sword formation. This sword array is composed of 4 swordsmanship, that is, the sword technique of killing gods, the sword technique of trapping gods, the sword technique of piercing gods, and the sword technique of exorcising gods. Combining the 4 major sword techniques into one, the power of the Zushin sword formation formed has more than doubled. Moreover, every time the sword technique is upgraded, the power will triple to the original level, which is a supreme killing technique. If I can break through to the 6th stage of the Zushin sword formation, with the 4 divine swords, I can easily kill Tian Bogong, the leader of Baihu occult. Yi Ming thought to himself, concentrating on practicing the sword formation. It's just that the requirements of the 6th Epei formation are very high. He still can't break through, and always feels that something is missing. 2 days later, he simply used the 8-element calculation formation to deduce the Zhushenjian formation, hoping to see through the mechanism. This deduction doesn't matter, but he discovered that the 6-fold God-killing sword formation can only be broken through at the stage of the magic spirit. Or, until he becomes a martial saint. It seems that the level of Fa Wuhan cannot be bypassed, but how can we break through? For a moment, he fell into deep thought.